on and show you a really quick video of how to do the even count peyote stitch in finding, how to attach it to an existing piece of beadwork. Now I'm going to do a bunch of other videos that will separately cover creating some of the designs that I'm featuring in this tutorial. This is just really to focus on the stitch in for somebody who just wants to jump ahead. Hey, I've got a finished piece and I want to put my stitch in on it. So this is how to do it. And a little bit about the stitch-ins. They come in, you can get them in a bulk bag from John Bead. You can also get them in the clamshell findings. So whichever way you want to buy them, I'm putting links in the description of this video to the stitch-ins themselves and all of the guides and patterns that I'm referencing in the tutorial here today. But the basics of this is that it is designed to fit on the end of beadwork that is even count. So you know when you do peyote stitch, you end up with an up bead on one side, and then the other side just has a down bead. So if you use a finding, and there's lots of great findings out there for seed beads that stitch in, none of them have that the bead that's attached, right? And none of them are positioned to end with like a symmetrical edge to an even count. So you end up having to do an odd count design to get those to sit in the center. Well, this finding is designed to fit on even count with that little prong moved one bead over, so it sits perfectly above your beadwork. So let me show you what I've got here as a sample, the one that I'm working with today, and we'll talk a little bit more about the stitch-ins themselves, what they work with, and the different sizes that are available. All right, one of the docs you'll find here linked in the description to this video is the Stitch-In Findings Guide. And this handy guide is for both sizes that are currently available. The size that I'm working with in today's video is the smaller one, and it is sized to fit larger 11/0 or size 10/0 seed beads. So some of the examples that I personally tested that work really well with this size, and that's the part number right there for the size that I'm working with, is a Toho 11/0, worked great with it. That's the round Toho. A Preciosa round 10/0. These are the ones that we have like in Michael's and stuff like that. These work great. The Miyuki 10/0 Delicates. Now this is a rarer bead, but it is a neat bead. It's very cool. It's the one I'm using in today's video because it's really a cylinder bead, so it locks in place. It looks really great, and it fits so nicely with the finding. So this is a bead that I think will grow on people as you see it more. It's just kind of unusual at the moment. People haven't heard of it unless you're usually working with 11/0. We are working on an 11/0 version, but the one I'm working with today is really sized for these beads here. Now, another one that it's newer, but also very cool, is a Matubo 10/0 cylinder. So these ones, you can get these currently from places like Art Beads. These are a cool bead. They look really neat with this finding. So all of these beads will work with the finding I'm showing you today. And then while I'm explaining it, all the steps I'm going to show you for today's project work on the 801 version. The 80 version we found worked with every brand, so it was very cool. So these are all round beads. This is a Check 80, Preciosa Ornella Check 80. It also worked with a Check Matubo, size 80. It works great with the Toho 80 and the Miyuki 80. All right, so here on the mat, what I've got is a design that I stitched up that is done with Miyuki Delica size 10/0. And these beads they're beautiful. They're a lot like 11/0 Delicas, everything you know and love about them, but they are just a smidge bigger. And how it works is you get one side. Let's make this bigger. There we go. You get one side like this. So you see how you've got your up bead here and you've got your down bead there. And this is just, in this case, my tail thread that I left at the beginning of this design. Regular even count peyote design. Started with 8 beads, and then every row we've been adding 4 beads to finish it. And now to finish it, all you have to do is just treat each of these as a bead, as your new bead, going into the up bead. And as we're adding it, we'll just skip adding up beads on the ones that go in between here. So you see how that's going to just click together perfectly? On the other side, we'll do the same thing. So you got that one there. And then over here on the other end, we just turn it. And it'll fit perfectly on that end. So you have a centered finish. So let's go ahead and stitch those down. All right, so let's get to stitching. So here's the end of the top part. Let's just grab one of those again. And I'm going to get a needle on there. And if you're wondering about the thread, I am using a Miyuki size B nylon, and it's in the red color. You can find that all on the website. If you're wholesale, it's available from johnb.com. And if you're retail, I'm going to put some other links in the description where you might be able to find that color and that type of thread. And I'm working with a short sharp. These are the John Bead short sharp needles. I would usually work with a longer beading needle, but this one, it's going to be kind of good for me to show because I'm going to be weaving in through just one bead. And so this is kind of handy in order to show you that. So starting with my tail side, this is the side that, I started the beadwork with. I'm going to grab the thread and grab the finding and just take one quick look again at what's going to happen here. It's going to become the up bead as we go into the next, it's going to become the new bead as we go into the next up bead. Sorry, I misspoke there. But so you can see it's just going to become that, like if we picked up a new bead, we would go through this bead, and this finding is going to become the new bead. So just go through it, slide that down, and just coming back over here, going through the next up bead. And what'll happen is it'll just kind of hang there at first, but already it's kind of just locking in position. Looks really good. And now what I want to do is just go through the beads. I'm just going to go through them to get myself exiting from that one. So just going through the next beads over, and kind of how I do that, I've got a method worked out already, is I will just stitch through 2 at a time. So exiting from that up bead, I'm just going to go through these. Just pull. And let's go through the next 2, same way. And now I'm where I want to be. Let's go through the finding, the other bead on the finding. There we are. And let's go through the next up bead. Pull that down. And there you go. So in basic, right there, it's done. We're just going to reinforce that. So to reinforce, I'm just going to go back through it. And so from where I'm exiting currently, I'm out of this edge bead here, the edge up bead. I just need to make a turn. So I'm going to go up through here. That's the bead that's below the up bead. And I want to be going this direction, right? That way. So I'm going to make a little turn. I'm going to go through the second bead down from the one that my finding is connecting to. Head the other direction, this way. That puts me here. And then I'll just go through this bead, the finding bead. And see how that just we just made a turn to just kind of get us where we needed to be. And from here, I'm just going to carry on. Get through this next up bead here. Through the next one. I might go through 2 here if I can. And now I'm at the up bead that connects to my finding, so I just got through both of those. Make a turn. All I gotta do now is just weave that in. All right, so that's all woven in. I'm gonna trim it. Just remove that extra thread there. And there's a finished connected finding. The thing I like the most about this, among the many things I like about it, is that it's flat. All of the other kind of closures that I used to do for my designs always had something where, you know, you had to stitch kind of over and make a little flap, and then you'd attach either maybe a slotted finding or a strap finding, or you were doing buttons and leather, and all of that added bulk to the end of the design, where this does not. It just stays nice and flat, and when you put that on, it's going to look so nice. So the other side is the same thing. Essentially, you're just going to repeat what we did before. And so these findings, when I sell them in my shop, they're going to be sold in pairs. I think that's what a lot of bead stores are going to do too. I think that's what makes sense. Or, you know, in a bag of 10 or something like that, like we do from the wholesale. So from here, you just take a look at what we've got. We've got this end has the edge, you know, the flat edge on that side. And when you come down to here, you see we've got our up bead on this side. So in this case, we just have the finding going that way. And again, I'm just going to stitch it right there, just like we did before. So coming up through the edge of the finding, and then just go through the up bead. And it should sit right there. From here, it's a little loose still, so I just need to get to the other bead. So let's just go through the beadwork for a little bit. Here's the next one. All right, somewhere I need to grab the other bead on the finding. Let's grab that, bring that on, go through the next up bead. So it's just the new bead. So all we're doing is treating it as the new one. Here's that turn again to get back and go through it again. So go down here. And then you know how when you've got a choice to go left or right, just go through the one that's the second one in this case, right? So you've got the finding bead and then the second one in. Go through that one. And up through here. And this is all diagrammed in the how-to guide for the stitch ends. So now I'm exiting out of that bead, which is this one right here. So from here I can just turn and go through my finding. And then just carry on through the next bead. And this makes it so easy to finish your peyote beadwork. That was one of the things when I first learned peyote that used to kind of leave me a little challenged at the end of finishing something. I would finish it, love it, and then I'd be like, what do I do now? Because there was nothing ideal. And now we've got this. I know it's going to be perfect. So from here, I'm going to go through my up bead and my finding. And there it is. 2 passes is pretty good. I've been just doing 2. You could do 3, but I don't know. I think 2 is really good. So just weave in, and that's it. That's all you got to do. There it is, all done. I weaved in, trimmed my thread, and I just want to show it in action. I should put a clasp on it and show you that part too. I'm gonna go run and find some of those. All right, so just gonna find the seam on that really quick. And there it is. You can see a little better there. All right, so here it is, all finished. And if you like this design, this is one that is free, downloadable, printable, make as many as you want, sell them. I don't mind. I make a bunch of these little seasonal cactuses. This is something that I've been doing for many years that just kind of lights me up to do. So I've got a heart one for Valentine's Day. I've got this Christmas one, holiday one, and I've got, oh gosh, you know, a bunch of different colors that show like the cactuses in different colors, the different backgrounds, just a plain cactus. And then I did one with a flower, like a little cactus flower. I'm thinking I might do another version, hopefully soon, some point here in the future. We're coming up on October. As I'm recording this, it's September 3rd, so 2023. I want to do a Halloween one. So maybe with little pumpkins on the cactus or ghosts or something. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't started sketching yet. So once I do, it'll be all this. Well, I'm going to link you to this one. And to find the others, all you got to do is just look in that same spot and it'll all be there. All right. So happy beading, guys. I hope you love the findings. Links to all this stuff, you can find it right down there in the description. And I'll see you next time.